Hi guys, welcome back to Try Not to Fall Out. This is our podcast episode about Oblivion, which is one of our favorite games. So we're super passionate about this. We can't wait to talk about it, and we're happy that you are along for the ride. Take it away, Elder.
So let me take you back to 2006, when one of the greatest games of all time ever came out, and it's called The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. This game came out, I picked it up, I played it, died a million times trying to get out of that bloody dungeon at the start. This game took a whole summer. I literally, 3 months straight, was playing this game. I went out and bought a strategy book for it. Even the strategy book was great because I learned about, like, this before, like, I had internet and stuff like that, and I had learned about all the caves, dungeons and stuff like that. It's such a good game. It's RPG fantasy game, minus the dragons, which is kind of a nice touch because I think we get kind of dragged out sometimes. The voice acting is good for its time. The story is great. The replayability is unmatched in most of the games I've ever had. So yeah, Georgia.
Let me get a look at you.
I've seen your face.
As Uriel Septim said, and I quote, "In your face I behold the sun's companion." Do you mean the sun god Uriel, known in the Empire as Akatosh? The very god your son is devoted to and would eventually invoke at the cost of his own life? Do you perhaps mean that you behold me as your son's companion? Does this make Martin the sun a hole in the sky, like how he ripped one into my chest upon his sacrifice? I love Sean Bean so much. I love Martin so much. And being able to save him, or at least attempt to, and being able to be by his side and learn about the Blades. Learn about when the Empire used to be good. If they were like that now, I would so be for them. But I feel like with the Septim bloodline, when that ended, everything fell apart.
Well, yeah.
Oblivion is just... It's like Skyrim if it was good. The reason people like Skyrim so much is because it's pretty, which fair enough. But let me tell you, if they ever do like a legendary edition, like they did with Mass Effect, but for Oblivion, it's over for you hoes. Banger after banger, the way that this game does. Like, you're telling me that in this game, not only do we get Martin Septim, we also get Lucian LeChance, and we also get Sheogorath and Jiggalag. What other game do you know that gives you so many interesting people that you're able to be a part of their story, but at the same time, you can't stop the inevitable fate, their inevitable demises? And I don't think it gets enough credit for how sad it is. If you're like me and you're emotional, Oblivion was tough, because I would get attached to a character. For example, Lucian LeChance in the Dark Brotherhood, which was an amazing quest line, got really attached to him, and then I saw him hanging upside down naked and decapitated, and I was like, okay. That's when I realized that Oblivion is not playing around. And when I got attached to Martin, I was like, oh, he's like turning into a cool dragon. That's badass. And then that was it. He died. Let me just talk about how the Oblivion crisis could have been completely avoided if we hadn't given the amulet to Joffrey.
Don't say that, please.
Because why did this man, in his infinite wisdom, put it in the fucking sock drawer?
It's crazy. Like, and a lot of people were surprised to hear my hatred for this guy, Joffrey. It's an ongoing thing on my channel that Joffrey is a fucking idiot. I fucking hate him. I don't like to swear all that often.
Who's more dumb, Joffrey or Mehrunes Dagon?
Joffrey, 100%.
I think it's Mehrunes Dagon, bro.
No.
Not only did he go to the Black Marsh and get his ass absolutely annihilated by a bunch of Argonians,
No.
he then shows up in our present Oblivion and gets his ass handed to him by Martin.
No, I disagree because...
Have you ever had a Daedric prince lose as much as he does?
No, but that's his point. He accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. Not in the way that you think, but he did.
Killed my boyfriend.
Mehrunes Dagon is the god of change. And he changed the landscape. He changed everything. So the whole way that Tamriel is now is changed because of him. Like, you start in a prison from Arena to Daggerfall to Morrowind.
But let's just say that the Emperor looks at you once and notices you from after he took 3 Benadryl and saw the Hat Man. He notices you and he's like, I trust you with my life for some reason. Also, I'm about to die, so can I just transfer that onto my son? But it's like, what was I in for? What if we were in for, like, rape and murder?
It does not matter. You were talking about, if they upgrade the graphics of Oblivion, I really, really kind of don't want that to happen, because I like...
Simply saying there are a lot of people now in the video game space...
Yeah.
Who, in my opinion, are not true gamers. What makes a good game is good graphics.
Yeah.
Be like, look at this game, look, it looks like a real person, it looks like a photograph. That's not what makes a game good. There are games like Fallout New Vegas and Oblivion that look older, but they are at the top. And when I first started getting into gaming, I was kind of like that. I was kind of like this prude who liked games that looked super realistic. and you would add mods and everything to make it even more hyper realistic and really HD. Whereas now I understand that's not what makes a game good. So I feel like a lot of people, the reason they like Skyrim is because it's so easily modded and you can make it look from good to great.
Yeah.
Even though you've got these guards that walk into the water and
Yeah.
look like potatoes, the AI that's very silly at times.
I like it. I love Oblivion for the way it is. When I feel like I'm having a shitty day or whatever, as soon as I boot that game up and I hear the intro music, it just makes me feel happy and it makes me feel comfortable. And like I spent so many hours in this game. It's my comfort game. You start off in prison, you work your way out through the prison. A lot of people got turned off by this because for some reason a lot of games are very handholdy back in the day. I felt like this game kind of just let you go and you went. That's what made me want to keep playing it. I wanted to learn what else can I do? What else can I learn?
Have you got a favorite quest?
Favorite quests. My favorite quest line is going through the. I think is it. Yeah, everyone's gonna say this, but the Dark Brotherhood quests. Some of them are my favorite. The Khajiit in the Brotherhood absolutely hates you.
Lucian likes you.
Yeah, Lucian likes you.
And then even when he thinks you betrayed him and then you talk him out of it, he's like, thank God.
I love the thief guild because it feels like a real thieves guild. Like they're not murderers, they're just thieves. So yeah, you literally have to steal stuff to level up in their group. I love that. I felt like it was just another Dark Brotherhood.
The only good part about the factions in Skyrim, like the Dark Brotherhood, was Cicero. Sorry. Cicero belongs in
Yeah.
Oblivion. Everyone else is boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, he comes from that. Cicero comes from that branch of the Dark Brotherhood. He comes from Oblivion, like from Cyrodiil.
My favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite, but the one that was most memorable was when you had to help the wife whose husband got stuck in a painting. I remember freaking out when I first got in there because there was God knows what in
Oh
there.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, my other. If you're just gone off one quest, that's not a faction quest line that I really liked. Is I like the one where you sleep on the boat.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
an inn, and then you wake up in the middle of the ocean, and it's captured by bandits, and they're looking for a treasure on the boat. The treasure, the guy just made it up to get people to come to the boat as like a gimmick. Like,
I just remembered as well the Dark Brotherhood quest where you have to go in a mansion
oh
for
yeah,
people who
yeah.
think they're gonna win. You murder one of the guys, and then the lady's like, "Oh, stay close, dear. You don't know who else could have done it." And then it's like it was literally me, but okay. Joffrey and Boris were put in a ring. Boris would win.
He goes undercover. He does lots of work. Joffrey doesn't do anything. He literally he sends you to go to the Emperor. He asks for your protection to take him back up the Cloud of the Temple with the Emperor. Then he literally just sits up in the Cloud of the Temple. The only time he comes out is when he has a whole army behind him to help fight the gates. And that's all he does. Like he, to me, he's useless, and he just points the finger and tells you where to go and what to do. But
Yeah.
he won't get off his own arse and do it. I know he's a leader and everything like that, but he shouldn't be leading. I don't think he should be. The whole reason why the Blades is failing. The Blades are really good. Joffrey just irritates me about the whole thing. Like, I don't know. Even if he just kept it in his freaking pocket, man, why did he have to put it in that stupid thing?
It's like a punch in the face. Like seeing where
Yeah.
the Empire is, seeing how the Imperials act,
I know.
and then on top of that, seeing the Blades. It was like one
Yeah.
gut punch after another.
Head of the Blades, Grandmaster, whatever, he's crap, man. And after doing multiple playthroughs of it, I just got tired of watching him fail over and over again.
Why can't we romance Martin? He used to fuck. Okay, I get he's a priest now, but then when you ask him to join the Blades to like save the world, he stops being a priest. You know, I do what I must do. I cannot stay to rebuild Tamriel. That task falls to others. Farewell. You've been a good friend in the short time I've known you, but now I must go. The dragon awaits. Sir? If I'd known he was going to do that, I'm sorry. I'm selfish, I guess. If I'd known he was going to sacrifice himself, I'd be like, don't bother, bro. I'd be like, give me that amulet.
You know, when he goes up to the crowd, you take him with the crowd of the temple for the first time, and he has to do the speech.
Before they ask him to the
Yeah.
speech, he looks to you and goes, a speech? I've never done a speech. You know, I was a priest until recently. My dad was a farmer. Like, what the fuck am I meant to do? And I love that. He's so real.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's a natural leader, even without realizing it.
Yeah. But he finds what we got to do. He knows how we're going to get the amulet back. He studies on it and does all that stuff. I feel like I'm going to keep hating on Joffrey a bit longer because he's doing all the work. Okay, we need to get the Daedric equipment or whatever. So and then you have to get to go to the underground cave to get the Ayleid, what's it called? The stone, the Ayleid sigil stones, their source of power. I think their actual bits of sun or light or power that's fallen from the sky, they sourced and they energized it. That's what they harness. And then that's why you have to get those 2 stones. But Martin researches all that. That's what I think he's so good, where Joffrey does nothing. He just sends you to go kill some spies that his men have told you they've seen. It's just so silly. Like,
I'd like to also, on the note of Martin being useful, there was this thing posted by the official account saying, "Did you know Tiber Septim was the longest reigning emperor of the Septim dynasty at 80 years? The shortest reign was by Martin Septim, who was formally recognized as the emperor mere moments before he sacrificed himself to end the Oblivion crisis." And someone responded with, "Wild how a man had 80 years to be a good emperor and failed, and yet his descendant was one for 5 minutes and was greater and did more for his people than he could ever dream."
he's my best friend.
Yeah, I think that Martin and the Hero of Kvatch will forever be one of my favorite pairings, and there's very little content on it, and I will always cherish it. Yeah, I love Martin. I think he's such a good character. Sean Bean really just fucking blew it out the park. He did amazing on the voice acting for it.
If you had to pick a town, where would your city or town would
If
be?
you were to ask me now, Kvatch, because like it's warm and quiet.
Maybe the church, the hole in it.
I'm sorry. Wherever Martin is, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe Coral?
When I first played it, I used to love Bruma. I used to love the house you could buy in there. Like, oh, it's a nice place. That has the big tree in the middle.
Bruma was the most interesting lore-wise.
Well, that's a lot happens up there.
Coral for was more comfy, I think. So like if I wanted to live somewhere, it'd be Coral. Bruma for things happening. And then Anvil seemed quite nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd go there now and again. And then Skingrad probably had the best architecture. And then Shaden Hall, as you mentioned, but probably ranking a little lower than the other one.
Jane Hall has a bunch of murderers hidden underground.
Well, maybe I'm one of them, you know?
Oh,
And
yeah,
then of course there is the classic come to Brazil
I hate Breville. It's yeah.
instead of Brazil.
Man, that place is so raggedy. Like,
They're a coin for an old beggar.
I have children or something, and then they're just like, wait, there is no children in Oblivion.
When you speak to a beggar and they're like, "Oh, thank you, kind sir," and then you like go away and you speak to them again, it's like, "Have you heard about the Thieves Guild?"
Yeah, like proper posh and everything. Like, it's so
It's
good.
so funny.
Yeah, so it cracks me up. Do you know? Have you ever completed the worst quest in the game?
Which one is that?
Can you take a guess? Yeah, any idea what I'm talking
No.
about?
Oh, is it the Knights of the Nine?
Nope. Well, I like the Knights in the Nine.
I didn't.
But that's a talk for a different discussion. But the Nairn route, where you have to collect out like 100
I
Nairn
love
route.
the sound the Nairn route. I had never done that, but I like
Yeah.
the sound the Nairn route makes.
But the one thing I do like about that quest actually carries the worst quest in Oblivion. They reference in Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
When you go down to it's a Blackreach or yeah, and you go down there and you see a dead skeleton and it has like the red Nirn route. Like that's a callback to Oblivion's quest because it's so annoying because you have to collect so many Nirn route.
I'm the hero
Yeah.
of Kvatch. I'm not doing
I
that.
hate those quests where you have to collect some number of this and a number of that. Like just
To be fair though, there are a lot of quests that are like way more interesting than that in Oblivion. Whereas you do get some games where that's it, like Fallout 4.
But then you have like I think I think people like underestimate some of them. Like is a lot of the time
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of the quests in Oblivion is you have to do a little bit like an entry kind of stuff to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say even the main quest is like that. Like there's a lot of moments where
Yeah.
you have to do something tedious, but it turns into something great. It's kind of like real life, you know? Like the startings are often humble. Oblivion is really a game that will reward you, which is rare nowadays, unfortunately. I feel like the reward you get from doing quests is not the same as it used to be, at least not in Oblivion. Like you felt like you'd accomplished something by the end of it and it felt like it was worth it. So the moments that were mediocre felt as though they had purpose, whereas there are some games where unfortunately you don't feel that, you know, it's not worth
It's like
it.
the Fighters Guild. Did you ever do that one? I love when you meet the Dark Elf guy in the Fighters Guild, and I think he's in Coral.
Oh yeah.
And you go into his house. Do you ever see his painting and stuff like that? He does. It's so funny.
Yes.
So good.
It's so
He's
good.
such a he's such a good written character.
It's so fun because even characters that you felt weren't too interesting to the story were so fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Like even if they weren't vital to the overall story, it felt like every character had a chance to stand out in one way or another, and I really liked that.
Yeah. There's some things that bother me about the game, and there's probably one criticism that will come up a lot when you're playing Oblivion is people say the spongy enemies and stuff like that, especially if you try take like 50 to 100 hits to kill one enemy. A lot of people hate on that, and the way the weapons and stuff degrade over time, a lot of people don't like that.
That annoyed me. I mean, it's realistic, but it annoyed me.
I don't mind it so much. I just ended up always 1 points into repair.
Just letting you know, you can actually get free horse armor. If you go to the stable. Also, they say that orcs eat horses, but she doesn't.
You can't even get a horse at the stable in the
I
Imperial
think you
City.
can.
No, you can buy a horse, all right, but you can't buy a horse from the Imperial City horse stables. That's where you get the armor, which I always thought was kind of weird.
When you get the armor, she's like, bring a horse first.
Yeah, but she has horses there. I was like, can I not
It's
just
like,
buy one of
it's
these?
like, bro, you have horses. Is it maybe because she's eating them? Is that racist? I don't
These are
know.
dinner, like. Yeah, the horse armor thing was funny controversy. I never really bought into it because I ended up buying the game eventually with all the DLCs and stuff in it, so I always have it.
Also, can we talk about how, like, I'm sorry, but the funniest way to start a quest is playing a game and murdering someone and not really thinking about it and then going to sleep and just waking up with a man hovering over you going, you sleep rather soundly for a murderer. That was so iconic. I'm sorry. Like, huh?
It's so cool.
I never sleep soundly. How does he find you, bro? Like, how long has he been watching you? Like, what does Lucian know?
It's the Night Mother. That's how she finds you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I personally don't believe in that, but you know, it's like Joshua Graham. I'm open, you
No,
know.
but you meet the Night Mother. She talks to you, man.
No, I don't believe in her. Sorry.
It's like Siddharth is real in the game, you know. He's the
No,
void.
no, I think
But
that's kind of you just schizophrenia.
no, so Siddharth is the black in the sky. So when you see all the blackness between the stars, that's what Siddharth is.
No, that's the universe.
No, there's no universe in the Elder Scrolls. The blackness
Yeah, there
is the
is.
god. So when I first joined the Dark Brotherhood in the game, I was so
I like how you
confused
specified in the game.
because
Just letting you guys know, Elder isn't actually affiliated with the Dark Brotherhood IRL. That's just me. So please don't send him hate or say that he's like a Sithist worshipper. That's not true. It's only in the game.
But the funny thing is, I didn't kill anybody. I had completed the arena, right? And I did the quest where you show the guy that he's a vampire in the arena, and he then doesn't want to fight you, but he wants you to kill him. He doesn't think he's worthy anymore because he's a vampire. So I killed him, and then you get the prompt up on top. Yeah, it counts as murder.
No, it should though.
He wanted to die. But I was fighting him in combat.
Yeah,
Like,
but,
I,
but that's fucked up though. You're meant to talk him out of
you
it.
can't. There's no talking him out of it. You become the champion of the arena. Next while you go to sleep, you see a chance of standing over you. Like, what is happening? I was so
He
confused.
really wants to recruit you, bro.
And you have to do a bunch of awesome
Because
quests.
he
through the Dark
knows. He
Brotherhood.
sees the potential. Lucian LeChance's house, by the way, is so fucked up. Could he not turn all those traps off for me? Why have you got a bunch of dead people like trying to eat me? Like, could you not at least tell the dead people that I was on my way?
He wanted to challenge you, man. I could not figure out why I kept turning into a vampire in the game, right? But I was playing the game. I was just trying to do the main quest, and when I was younger, I couldn't get past. I couldn't figure out why I kept turning into a vampire. I kept having all these, the prompts for the weird dreams and stuff like that. I was like, why is this happening? Like, why does this keep happening? I ended up finding out what was happening because I had my my big book that I'd read about it. Do you know when you have to get a Azure Star? Do you remember that quest?
Yeah, I don't think I did it.
You go into this cave, and Azura, she locked a bunch of
Oh yeah, I did that once, yeah.
and I went in, I killed all the vampires, completed the quest, didn't think any of it. A few days later, I become a vampire, and I couldn't.
Yeah, you
under-
caught it.
Yeah, and I couldn't understand. I was trying to figure it out for weeks when I was younger. Figured out why did I keep turning vampire, and then
There's a way to cure it though, right?
oh, there is. But I just all I had to do is after I completed that quest, just go pray at a shrine, and I would never turn into a
Yep.
vampire. But I didn't know this because this is the time before I had internet and stuff like that. But that was
Yeah.
what
I mean,
made
that's
it.
easy to do and not realize.
But I'm not complaining. That's what made the game for me because I had to research this, learn about vampirism, how to beat it
It forces you.
in this game. You get burned by the sun. It's really punishing. You get loads of debuffs. You can see in the dark and you're probably a little stronger. But you end up going down this like route. The actual get the cure is a pretty lengthy. Well, I don't think it's that long, but it's a fairly lengthy mission, and you have to find ingredients and bits and bobs to do it. I had to go down all this chain just to get rid of my vampirism. Yeah, I loved it. That's what I love about this game. It taught me how to role play, how to play all this stuff. I loved it. But then sometimes I like to play as a vampire. I love the way in the Dark Brotherhood you get the guy gives you the option to become a vampire, and if I'm playing an evil character, I like to play as it because the idea is my character sometimes I like to roleplay that I want to live forever, right? And you technically get to live forever. Dark Brotherhood and Thief's Guild are probably two of my favorite quest lines in this game. Thief's Guild is very long. Dark Brotherhood is good, very long, but not very long, but it has a really good story and a big twist in it. And you could figure it out. The thing about the twist is if you're actually like just reading the prompts that come up about your quest and not actually reading the notes, you'll miss out on when things start to change. And I didn't realize this because I wasn't reading. Do you know when you pick up a note and I wasn't actually physically reading the note, the brief description that gives you and the prompt. And then eventually I went back and because they apparently spoil it. So FYI, I'm going to spoil some of the Dark Brotherhood quests. It's been
I
out.
mean, I think everything is spoiled. I don't think you
Yeah.
need to say that anymore, but sure.
But yeah, so it turns out a guy was changing the dead drops and he was putting his own assassination requests in. It changed from the handwriting changes,
That quest line was so awful,
but it was
man.
so cool.
No, I mean, as in, it made me so sad.
Oh, when you see but then you meet, they all put the blame on Lucy and Chance. They all think he's a traitor because they think he's been asking us to go kill all these
Yeah,
people.
which makes me so sad.
And the people that we were killing were all fingers of the hand, right? So the way the Dark Brotherhood works is there's 5 fingers. Like each finger is a person in the Dark Brotherhood. We're the thumb, apparently, I think, because we're their weapon that they use to clean up their problems or issues they have.
Yeah.
And apparently we were taking them all out of people, high-ranking people in the Dark Brotherhood. We even killed the listener, their own listener. So
And then Lucian finds you and he's like, "Why?
my God.
I thought I could trust you. Like, you were like my favorite. What the fuck happened?" And then you're like, "I was just following orders." And then he goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and then it's just a cool ending. Like the guy that was hiring you to do all this,
It's so
like
sad.
he's such a creep. Like he keeps his mother's head in the basement. Oh, someone was saying to me, you can show the guy that was doing the session, like that was he was the traitor.
Oh yeah,
You
you
can show
can.
him his
Yeah,
mother's head.
yeah, and
Yeah, I
that'll.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's loads of things that you can do that
Yeah.
you wouldn't know unless you try. It's true.
Yeah, so Dark Brotherhood, top quality. You get cool equipment, cool quests, cool awards, really up there on anyone you talk to about the Elder Scrolls. They mentioned the quest lines and stuff like that. They generally reference like when was the Dark Brotherhood the best? It was always in Oblivion. Like it was better written, and the quest line is awesome. You get the Thief's Guild. I really like the Thief's Guild. The fact that it feels like a Thief's Guild. You have to go rob things to level up through their ranks and stuff like that. And then eventually you have to pull off a big huge heist at the end. Everything is built up to this moment where you have to gather all these resources that help you through it. And you get to the end and then you basically steal an Elder Scroll. And and then you have to like escape through this like
Yeah, the freaking the blind monks, and you have to pretend to be the
yeah
girl that's like wanting
yeah.
to see the tomes and
If you
stuff.
bump into them or say anything or try to talk to them, they literally try to kill you then.
They find
Yeah,
you, yeah.
that's crazy. It's so good. And then turns out then he wants the Elder Scroll. Who's the Daedra of the Thief's Guild again? She gives you the picklock. She had put a curse on the
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal. Yeah. She put a curse on the Grey Fox guy because he stole that from her. So as soon as he stole that from her, he was basically wiped from history. So no one recognized him because he's always known as the stranger. His own wife wouldn't, like he'd stand right beside her and she wouldn't know who he was, right? So that's why he wanted the Elder Scroll, put himself back into history again, and so he could be recognized and give up the mantle of the Grey Fox, which then you take up. But you ever notice his face is because I think they made the cowl different, so they had to model his face to fit the cowl, the Grey Fox cowl thing, because his eyes are real low and beat and kind of look kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I always drive it out. Like that's why I have. If you ever go into my Twitch channel, I have an emote of it has like big goopy eyes. Like that's why I added that in. He's a freaking yeah. It's so ugly looking. I hate the Grey Cowl, but it's so good as an item. And then you have an awesome. The Fighters Guild's great. Has a big twist in that too. With this other Fighters Guild quest faction are your competitors, but they're like enhancing their soldiers with drugs and stuff like that. Because you go to kill, you have to go to some village to kill loads of goblins, and it turns out it was people because you're on drugs and you couldn't. You're taking the sap tree. That
Yep.
quest was freaking mental. And then you have a bunch of other cool stuff like the Mages Guild is really good. It's pretty. I don't know what it is. Like I like the Mages Guild, but sometimes I always feel like it's kind of underwhelming near the end. You got all the other like miscellaneous ones all over the place. When you're doing the main quest, would you recruit all the cities for the last battle?
Yeah.
Yeah. like I'm gonna do it, and then do you not ever feel like that's busy? That kind of bit kind of grinds on me because I've done it so many times now.
Yeah, it does. It's probably one of the only parts of the game that I find quite
Yeah.
hard to have to repeat constantly. But it's worth it for Martin.
It's worth it for all extra 10 people that show up at the last epic battle.
Yeah, but I like to,
But like that's the thing.
I don't know if I can't even remember if there's extra dialogue if you do all of them or not. But I just, I was like, Martin's counting on me.
But I feel like it's the game's a product of its time. Like people will say, "Oh, it's supposed to be a big epic battle," but it's like 5 or 10 people standing there. But that's fine. You're supposed to use your imagination. We're fighting all these monsters and stuff. And then Mark Cameron as the main bad guy, he's kind of weird and creepy. When you go to the what's his realm called, Paradise or something like that, and he was literally
Dankar Cameron's Paradise.
yeah, he's a freaking weirdo, man. He was like he promised all these people great, like if they die, they come to paradise, but he literally just tortures them and stuff like that. As soon as you get them into your paradise land, you want to torture them. Yeah. I was happy to kill him. I can play this game over and over again. I love the fact that the way you have so many different races. You can play as male or female. You can be a warrior, thief. You can be an archer. I just love it. It's a game I want to always just pick up and play. I have so many plans in the future for it, for streaming and for my channel.
I will always love this game because it's the only game that has Martin in it. I wanted to read some posts that I found that I think were quite funny in regards to Oblivion, if you wouldn't mind.
Please do.
So this person just started playing Oblivion for the first time, which I'm very jealous of, and they write as follows. I've started Oblivion, and playing it basically blind to everything but the broad outline of the main story has been fantastic, because holy hell is this thing hitting the put that guy in situations button in a manner Skyrim only occasionally gestured at. I dropped 10 gold on a room at a novelty inn, set up in a refurbished, permanently docked boat. Brackets. Escaped from jail and saw the Emperor get assassinated 3 hours ago. Brackets. Need to level up before beginning my journey to find his heir. Can't do that without a bed. Have been selling dead rats for money. And the stupid boat was specifically called out as the cheapest option in the city. Brackets. And wake up to find the entire thing's been hijacked and sailed out to sea because the dipshit proprietor deliberately started a rumor that there was hidden treasure on his boat to attract business from adventurers, only to make a surprised Pikachu face when he attracts adventurers. I tried to bluff my way through the first 2 guys by claiming I was a late hire to their group. They both believed me and immediately tried to kill me to keep the payout a 4-way split. I tell the 3rd guy I killed the first 2 guys, and he immediately tries to kill me to make the 3-way split a 2-way split. 4 homicides and change later, and we're back in dock at the Imperial City. What was any of that about? The hero of Kvatch is not a person in control of their own life in any way, shape, or form, and I like it that way. Which is hilarious to me because there are people who starting the game won't know about the boat, and they will go on the boat, and then that happens, and it just made me smile so much.
Yeah, I love that. But that quest and the painting one are ones that people don't even know about sometimes, and they may have been playing Oblivion for years. It's crazy, like that. Like there's things like that come up that the game is so vast. There's so many little nuanced things that you can do. You know, that's what makes the game so great, and you have to get out and play it, guys. I think we're gonna have to do more recordings on Oblivion and Elder Scrolls games, like break down the factions or break down the DLCs, like we did for Fallout, I'd say, because there's so much more I have to say about this game.
Oh yeah, me too. I could do a whole episode just on Martin. I've got another post here.
Yeah.
There's basically one where it's like reasons that Oblivion is the worst game, and then it's got Martin dies, and then it's got Lucien Lechance dies. And then someone replied with reasons Oblivion is the best game, and it's you get to meet Martin and you get to meet Lucien Lechance. So it's true, it's a double-edged sword, like at the end of the day it's worth it even though it's not. Like it's worth it to meet these characters and how interesting they are. But at the same time, the pain I suffered, it was great. There's also the fact that the arc that the hero of Kvatch and Martin have, they're like mirrors of each other. So Martin starts as a Daedric worshipper, he then turns into an Aedric worshipper, and then he turns into an Aedra. And then the hero of Kvatch starts as an Aedric champion, she then turns into a Daedric champion, and then a Daedra.
Oh yeah.
So I found that very interesting as well. And no one really talks about the fact that Martin says that he used to have the Rose of Sanguine. No one really talks about that. Like, I don't think anyone really understands the implications of that. Like, you have to do something fucked up to get that. So,
It's party time.
Martin, what were you up to, bro? Is that why he's so chill with us? Yeah, there's also some quotes that someone gathered from the people that you have to purify in the Dark Brotherhood quest. Made me a little bit emotional because, you know, they were all very memorable
Oh, yeah.
characters. Like, there's Antoinetta who says, "I will always think of Lucien Lachance as my savior. When he found me, I was living in a gutter, an inch away from death. I owe him everything." Gogron, who says, "Lachance gave me a special assignment once. Had to go all the way to Somerset Isle for that one. Killed me about 30 elves. Good times." Ochiva, who I loved, who said, "Lucien Lachance's word is law. Whatever contract he has given you must be carried out without question." Telendrill, who gets very jealous of you when they find out that you've got a special assignment and they don't. The thing is, as well, this is the quest that apparently came from Lachance to kill them all. And you know, and you can kind of ask them about it without asking them about it. Vicente, who we get quite attached to, who is the vampire in the Brotherhood, he
Yeah.
says Lachance would have not have selected you for a contract unless he had the utmost confidence in your abilities. Best not to let him down. And unfortunately, none of these people know they're talking about their own death.
It's stab. Ugh.
It made me really sad. And then, of course, he leaves you Shadowmere. You do get a remnant in the Skyrim, and for those who don't know, you can get Lucien Lachance as a spirit to follow you around in Skyrim.
Yeah, and listen to him in Skyrim because he's correct.
You can ask the Night Mother
He'll guide you.
if Lucien was forgiven in her eyes, and she says, yeah, he was the most true to the Brotherhood. And then also, if you want to kill Cicero, Lucien Lachance will basically speak you out of it. Because you'll say, even though he's insane, he's the only one in this whole fucking place that has obeyed the true Night Mother's laws.
The tenants.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you'll feel the wrath of Siddhis after everything they say or something like that if you disobey.
Writing Shadowmere in Oblivion, like after everything's over, it's got such a bittersweet feeling to it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've gained so much, but you've lost so much. Everyone you become attached to in Oblivion fucking dies. Like, even Sheogorath. Because in a way, if you take over the mantle and you become him, he disappears, or that aspect of him disappears. And when you talk to Jigalag, it's like completely different, and that also made me quite sad.
Well, that's my question about, is Jigalag back as a full entity as itself? Or is it like, yeah, because I'm suspecting.
Well, basically, the thing is, like, no, but yes.
Yeah.
Because
I know what you mean, but
yeah, basically, I think that Sheogorath kind of he's gone.
Yeah. Well, he's gone to become Jegalag as his original entity, and he passed on the godhood to the hero of Kvatch.
Did Jigalag say he would end the Grey March? I can't remember. I think he did.
No, I think he's going to come back.
Oh, I thought he said he would. I thought he said he would end it if you take over.
I don't know. I think Jigalag's going to come back. I think that'd be a good plot for the next Elder Scrolls. But look, that's a theory that I have. But that's something I want to discuss maybe a bit more when we go into the DLC kind of side of things, because your character totally changes for the next game. Because when you meet the Sheogorath in a Skyrim, which is like what 200 years later, it's like the whole embodiment back of Skyrim of Sheogorath again, voice and all.
Oh no, you did. You broke the cycle, so the Grey March doesn't exist anymore.
Jigalags, yeah.
Jigalag let you win, which big picture was a huge win for him because it broke the cycle. Now he's free of madness.
Yeah, so Jigalag is...
And out there plotting.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not going to come back for you. He's going to come back for the other Daedra. And if you become the other Daedra, it depends on whether or not he hates madness.
Yeah, so I think he could be a good villain.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, but it breaks my heart. How the fuck would Martin react if he finds out you're Sheogorath? He'd be like, I leave you alone for 5 minutes and you became Sheogorath.
Yeah. I know.
Someone made a post about how funny it is if the hero of Kvatch already does the Shivering Isles, so you like help Martin, but you're literally Sheogorath. That's so funny to me.
Man, yeah. We can talk about all the Sheogorath stuff eventually in another episode, I think. But
this is such a good game.
Oh, so good. Like from just starting off in the prison to literally becoming god, like a godhood, like, you know, you become...
But even it's not about the godhood, it's about the friends we made along the way.
But the thing I like, the reason I like about the protagonist in this game compared to, say, Skyrim, you're not a god-like entity straight away, if you know what I mean. So you're just a normal kind of warrior, mage, whatever. And you're like literally a nobody, where I feel like in Skyrim, the first time you fight a dragon, the exorbitant, like, oh my god, he's a dragonborn. You're like a god entity straight away. Where This one, you're just literally Martin's protector. You have to protect the actual person that is the Dragonborn and get him to save the world. And that's what I liked about it.
But unfortunately, to save the world, he must die. And then I must live to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. Why did Dragonborn and Skyrim not die?
Yeah, look, this is my favorite. I'll read this to end. I love to do the Shivering Isles before anything else in Oblivion because it's hilarious. Lucien Lechance let Sheol-Gorath into the Dark Brotherhood. Sheol-Gorath is now his silencer. Sheol-Gorath also joins the Thieves Guild and becomes the Grey Fox. He is also a Daedric prince and helps Martin Septim stop the Oblivion crisis. That is so hilarious to me. And yeah, as I said in the start, ladies and gentlemen, in your face, I behold the sun's companion. Thanks, Uriel Septim. Do you perhaps mean the sun god Uriel, known in the Empire as Akatosh, the very god your son is devoted to and would eventually invoke at the cost of his own life? Do you perhaps mean that you behold me as your son's companion? Does this make Martin the sun a hole in the sky, like how he ripped one into my chest upon his sacrifice? Thanks for listening, everyone. We really appreciate it. If you haven't played Oblivion yet, I don't know what to say to you other than please play it. Like, it's so good. And I can't believe Todd Howard had the nerve to kill Lucien Lechance, Vicente, and Martin.
Ew.
And he still shows his face around here. I
Ew.
can't believe it. Play Oblivion, or Sheol-Gorath will show up in your house and kick over all your furniture.
You kill off your favorite characters, but they really have impact, and that's, makes a good story, I think. Play Oblivion.
Play Oblivion.
Please.
And do not trust Joffrey with the amulet.
Him and his stupid fucking sock drawer, man. Fuck him.